Kwento, one of Net25 Kids' online shows. Kid Kwento is now on TV. You can watch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Also watch Anong Sa Inyo with Ate DJ every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Sa Kid Kwento, ang aming motto ay, Let's all read to succeed! Hooray! Kita-kita tayo ha! Bye-bye!
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
Magandang umaga. Pinaboran ng Quezon City Regional Trial Court ang mosyon ng prosekusyon na pabalikin na mula sa kulungan sa ospital si dating ARMM Governor Saldi Ampatuan na isa sa mga pangunahing akusado sa Maguindanao Massacre case. Sa kautusan ni Branch 221 Presiding Judge Jocelyn Solis Reyes, nakitaan nito ng merito ang hirit ng prosekusyon. Kasabay nito ay binasura ng hukom ang hiling ni Ampatuan na palawigin ang kanyang pananatili sa ospital. Isinugod sa Taguig Pateros District Hospital si Ampatuan at kalaunan ay inilipat sa ICU ng Makati Medical Center noong October 21 dahil sa sakit sa puso. Ayon kay Judge Reyes, wala nang dahilan para makonfine sa paggamutan si Ampatuan dahil pwede naman itong sumailalim sa rehabilitation sa loob ng kulungan. Malinaw anya sa medical abstract ni Ampatuan na nagpapatuloy na lang ito sa rehabilitasyon. Samantala, muling niyanig ng magnitude 5.3 na lindol ang Davao del Sur kaninang madaling araw. Ayon sa datos ng Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology of PHIVOLCS, tumama ang lindol sa layong 28 kilometers sa silangan ng Padada. May lalim ito na 9 kilometers at tectonic ang origin nito. Naramdaman ang intensity 5 sa Digos City, habang intensity 4 naman sa General Santos City. Bagamat wala itong inaasahan na pinsala sa lugar, ay patuloy na ibinabala ng PHIVOLCS ang mga aftershock. Tumama ang lindol ilang araw matapos ang magnitude 6.9 na lindol nitong linggo. At yan ang mga balita para sa oras na ito. Abangan ang iba pang mga balita mamayang alas 10:30 ng umaga sa Agila, Pilipinas. Mula sa Eagle News Service, ako si Phoebe Publico and I'm on with 25.
We live in interesting times. Today's stories. COP25 attendees say climate progress is now up to the EU. Musicians and artists join protests against the new citizenship law. Iranians react to heavy air pollution engulfing the capital, Tehran. Let's hear from the women saving Afghanistan from Soviet explosives. 5 years of thirst. South Africa's Eastern Cape battles brutal drought. Chile regrets allegations of human rights violations. Detained migrants' trash inspires a U.S. janitor's art. scientists to harness the sun to break down plastic.
As well as the solvent. So the issue is that
Plus, the city of Memphis celebrates its 200th birthday and builds a gigantic monument to commemorate the occasion.
50 feet long and comprised.
This is Eagle News coming to you from Washington, D.C., bringing you stories from around the globe. I am Rose Papa Angeles. Officials attending a marathon UN climate summit Sunday say it is now up to the EU to push for progress in the global warming battle plan that fell well short of what science says is needed to tackle the climate crisis.
This year, but we were expecting to have the push at the level that we need. The European Union has come up with some very relevant steps that will allow us to do what we say and what we ask, to raise our ambition next year when we have been demanding to do to everybody.
It seems that EU now needs to be the leader, and we want to be, and we are going to be, and that's what we are doing. We want to have a climate neutrality by 2050, and we just published this ambitious Green Deal, and now we are working on that because we want to build our economy on sustainably. That's the only way. We need to understand that we don't have a planet B.
I mean, this conference in Madrid is really a down point for the entire multilateralism on climate change. And it's now up to the European Union with a Green Deal to go ahead with a clear vision of a carbon-free, neutral economy and set a precedent for other economic regions to get out of this downward spiral here in the negotiations.
A major climate summit wrapped up in Madrid Sunday with a compromise deal that left little to show, prompting UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to lament a, quote, lost opportunity to act. Almost a fortnight of COP25 talks just squeezed out hard-earned compromises from countries over a global warming battle plan that fell well short of what science says is needed to tackle the climate crisis. Guterres said, quote, I am disappointed with the results of COP25. The international community lost an important opportunity to show increased ambition on mitigation, adaptation, and finance to tackle the climate crisis. Host country Spain said the summit's final declaration expresses the urgent need for new carbon-cutting commitments to close the gap between current emissions and the Paris Treaty goal of capping temperatures at below 2 degrees. Carolina Schmidt, Chilean Environment Minister and President of COP25, told the closing plenary, quote, today the citizens of the world are asking for us to move ahead faster and better. But Tina Yunemto-Stige, climate envoy for the Marshall Islands, denounced the response as inadequate for facing an existential threat of rising sea levels. Stige said, quote, unfortunately, the new text we adopted this morning does not reflect anything near what we would have wanted. It is the bare minimum, and we regret that countries could not agree on a more ambitious text. Green youth activist Greta Thunberg, named 2019 Person of the Year by Time magazine, on Friday slammed world leaders for, quote, still trying to run away from their responsibilities while demanding a year of action in 2020. Following a year of deadly extreme weather and weekly protests by millions of young people, Madrid negotiators were under pressure to send a clear signal that governments were willing to double down. The summit moved at the last minute from Chile due to unrest, at times teetered on the brink of collapse as rich polluters, emerging powerhouses, and climate-vulnerable nations groped for common ground in the face of competing national interests. Mohamed Ado, director of Power Shift, said, quote, based on the adopted text, there is a glimmer of hope that the heart of the Paris Agreement is still beating, but its pulse is very weak. Negotiators from nearly 200 nations came to Spain's capital with the aim of finalizing the rulebook for the 2015 Paris Accord, which enjoins nations to limit global temperature to below 2 degrees Celsius or 3.6 Fahrenheit. Thousands of protesters again in a playground in India's northeastern city of Guwahati, where musicians and artists performed to protest against a new citizenship law which led to violent protests just days before, leaving at least 4 people dead after clashes broke out.
We're not going to support this act because it is dangerous for Assamese people, Assamese culture. So we are not going to support this act, and we'll protest it till our last breath. This is unique because artist protest. This is artist protest. All kind of artists are coming and they are protesting through their artworks, and I think this is a good message for them. They must know that everybody is coming out for these things.
All kind of artists, all students, teachers, and renowned artists of Assam. All kind of artists are together here.
Iranians in Tehran react to the thick cloud of smog engulfing the capital after schools were forced to close in parts of Iran due to the pollution which worsens during winter as cold air and a lack of wind traps started smog over the city for days on end, a phenomenon known as the thermal inversion.
شهرداری باید جوابگویی نباشه هر جا که رسیده مجوز داده اصلا به فکر این نبوده که اینجا باید فضای سبز داشته باشن مردم باید راحت بیان برن به فکر خیابون سازی نبودن فقط به فکر این بودن مجوز بدن
محترم به نظر من هیچ کس کارشو درست انجام نمیده در این سرزمین چه حاکمیت چه مردم سرزمین ما حتی بشه تحصیل کرده مردم هم بسیار مقصر هستن مخصوصا در آوردن ماشیناشون ماشینای تک سرنشین چقدر دیگه باید حاکمیت بگه ولی حاکمیت هم کارشو درست انجام نمیده
آقا تا زمانی که مسئولین تو ماشینای شیشه دودی نشستن تشخیص نمیدن این هوا کثیفه هر موقع شیشه اومدن نشستن تو ماشین امثال ما میفهمن که هوا کثیفه باید یه فکری بالش بکنن چون وقتی شیشه دودی اینا از تو در خونه سوار میشن فکر میکنن هوا تاریکه میرن در محل کارشون پیاده میشن اونجا هم چیزی نمیبینن چون همه تهویه مطبوع همه چی دارن
State media reported air pollution forced schools to close on Sunday in parts of Iran, including Tehran, as the capital lay under a thick cloud of smog. The pollution level in the capital was, quote, unhealthy for sensitive groups, and officials warned the young, elderly, and people with respiratory illnesses to stay indoors with sporting activities suspended. The decision to shut schools in the capital was announced late Saturday by Deputy Governor Mohammad Tagsadeh after a meeting of an emergency committee on air pollution. IRNA reported an odd-even traffic scheme based on vehicles' registration numbers was imposed to restrict traffic in the capital. Trucks were banned outright in Tehran province. Tagsadeh ordered that all activities at Tehran's province's numerous sand quarries would also be halted. A gray cloud hung over Tehran on Sunday, obstructing the view of the mountains overlooking the city to the north. According to government website air.tehran.ir, an average airborne concentration of the finest and most hazardous particle, PM2.5, was at 145 micrograms per cubic meter for 24 hours until Sunday noon. That is close to 6 times the World Health Organization's recommended maximum of 25 micrograms per M3. IRNA reported schools were also closed in the northern province of Alborz and in the central cities of Qom and Arak. Air pollution was the cause of nearly 30,000 deaths per year in Iranian cities, state media reported earlier this year, citing a health ministry official. The problem worsens in Tehran during winter. Cold air and a lack of wind traps hazardous smog over the city for days on end, a phenomenon known as thermal inversion. According to a World Bank report released last year, most of the city's pollution is caused by heavy vehicles, motorbikes, refineries, and power plants. 40 years after the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan and 3 decades since the conflict ended, the war's legacy continues to claim lives across the country. A humanitarian organization has been working in several Afghan provinces since 1999 to clear explosives left from a war most of the country's current young population never lived through.
بعد که ما اولین خانمایی هستیم که در مین پاکی شامل شدیم، بسیار خوب بود که در دیگران مثلا انگیزه میشه که دیگر خانمان در وظیفه بیان شامل شن. بعد میتونیم که بامیان یا دیگر جاها را کلا آری از مان کنیم. همه برای فرزندا و مردمای خودمون ساحه فرزندا میتونن این ساحه را بگردن به راحتی.
Ghulam Mahayuddin sighs softly as he thinks of his 14-year-old son who was killed in the spring by a bomb dropped last century in the hills of Bamiyan province in central Afghanistan. Mahayuddin, who found his son's remain after he didn't come home one day, said, quote, "We knew the mountain was dangerous. We were aware of mines, but we could not find them. They were buried in the soft sand after the rain." 40 years after the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan and 3 decades since the conflict ended, the war's legacy continues to claim lives across the country. Mahayuddin's son, Mujtaba, was killed along with 2 friends aged 12 and 14 on May 17 when they went looking for berries in this idyllic landscape where chocolate-colored mountains are topped with snow. When none of them had returned the next day, Mahayuddin and other residents from his tiny village called Ahagaran started searching. Mahayuddin's recalled, quote, "I found my son with just his chest and head left." Mujtaba and his friends has been killed by what is known as an AO-2.5 RTM submunition. The cluster bombs were used extensively by Soviet forces who dropped them like deadly rain across Afghanistan in the years following their December 1979 invasion. 44-year-old Mahayuddin remembers the war well. He said he used to bring tea to Mujahideen fighters who would hide in the mountains and launch ambushes against Soviet patrols. According to a 2016 Human Rights Watch report, more recently the cluster weapons have been used in Syria. Bashir Ahmad, who heads a team of deminers from the Danish demining group DDG, said, quote, "It is the most dangerous. It is very sensitive to vibrations." Up next, 5 years of thirst. South Africa's Eastern Cape battles brutal drought. Chile regrets allegations of human rights violations. Detained migrants' trash inspires a U.S. janitor's art. Scientists to harness the sun to break down plastic. Plus, the city of Memphis celebrates its 200th birthday and builds a gigantic monument to commemorate the occasion. Eagle News will be right back. Stay with us.
Now you cheese it. No, you don't. Andito! Si Cheesiest!
Walang dudang cheesiest yan! Mula sa #1 Tender Juicy, Pure Foods Tender Juicy Cheese Dog.
What's up, everybody? Just like snow in Las Vegas being a rare thing, so are opportunities in life. So whenever they come around, seize the moment. Tune into Digital Nest on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. only on Net 25. I'm Ahmed Santos, your EBC correspondent, always one with 25. Peace!
Hello, Digital Nesters. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to watch our future features.
Welcome back. This is Eagle News coming to you from Washington, D.C. I am Rose Papa Angeles. In South Africa's Eastern Cape province, no one can remember the last proper downpour. Some say it was 5 years ago, others 6. Residents are relying on water distributions with dramatic consequences for farmers, school children, and traders. According to the United Nations, in southern Africa as a whole, where temperatures are rising twice as fast as the rest of the world, people are experiencing the worst drought in 35 years.
When we came here, we got a shock. We saw the people opening up taps, no water coming out. Some people telling us this has been for the last 6 months, some for the last 4 months, some for weeks. Because the town is still a little bit of water, now the whole place is shut.
We wake up early because sometimes it's hot. Then we went to go fetch water by the other locations when they haven't got water. I spend sometimes 3 hours or 2 hours when I'm tired.
The lack of water is affecting the education of the kids because they're staying out of school. Some of them have to go and help their parents or grandparents carry water.
We're in a survival mode. For how long? I don't know. If we don't get rain now before the winter, we'll have to close the books. People will sit without jobs, no income, starving. It's actually a chain reaction because of this drought.
The Chilean government says it regrets the number of reports of police abuse received by the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, but warned that they were generated in a context of violence that involved intense protests.
Queremos lamentar profundamente las denuncias recibidas por el equipo de la alta comisionada que estuvo en nuestro país. Cada una de ellas está siendo o será investigada por el Ministerio Público y será sancionada de acuerdo a lo que determinen los tribunales de justicia. Queremos volver a enfatizar que fue esa situación de violencia y no las manifestaciones pacíficas, como se ha pretendido hacer ver por algunos, la razón que determinó la necesidad de decretar el estado de excepción constitucional ese viernes 18 de octubre. Aquella decisión no fue tomada en el vacío, sin contexto, sino que fue necesaria para cumplir con la responsabilidad que el Estado tiene como primer garante de la protección de los derechos humanos. Respecto de las recomendaciones de la Oficina de la Alta Comisionada, reiteramos nuestra disposición a acoger todo aquello que tenga como objetivo mejorar prácticas en materia de derechos humanos, su resguardo y protección, siendo estos una prioridad irrenunciable para el Estado y para nuestro gobierno.
During a decade as a janitor at a U.S. border station, Tom Kiefer gathered the trash left behind by thousands of undocumented immigrants, piecing together the histories of those who arrived seeking a better life. The American Dream at Los Angeles Skirball Cultural Center through March displays more than 100 photographs of these remnants, which the artists collected in the secret at the Ajo, Arizona station between 2003 and 2014.
One of the things I think these photographs remind us of is that even small injustices can be the first step on a path towards things that are totally inhumane. And it may seem like not a big deal to take away somebody's shoelaces or to take away somebody's toothbrush, but when you start doing that, it makes you accept that treating people that way is okay, and then, you know, before you know it, it leads to things like family separation. Brightly colored small things like these rubber ducks were used to mark the trail because the desert is really flat and really there's not a lot of distinguishing features, so you can tell where you are, and so they were used for navigation so that groups of migrants could find their way through the cactus and through the brush there.
Pues yo también vine de la misma manera, dejamos ropa, los peines, carteras, los números de teléfono de nuestras familias, sin saber si vamos a regresar o no vamos a regresar.
Well, it's heartbreaking in this mundane collection of objects. It has a cumulative power of this tragic humanity, and it really is just a deeply moving collection of images.
Scientists said Wednesday they have come up with an environmentally friendly method that uses artificial sunlight to transform plastic into power-generating chemicals as countries worldwide battle to reduce waste. Huge quantities of plastics have piled up on land and been dumped in the sea across the world, with Asian nations in particular facing criticism for failing to tackle the problem. Researchers in Singapore say they have converted plastic into formic acid, which can be used in power plants to generate electricity by using a catalyst which neither damages the environment nor costs a lot of money. In lab experiments, researchers from the city's Nanyang Technological University mix plastic with chemicals to form a solution, which could then be broken down by artificial sunlight. The plastic was broken down in 6 days, and scientists hope the process can be carried out in future under real sunlight.
We are able to turn plastics, which are of course polluting the oceans, into useful chemicals, and we do it using sunlight. So we're hoping to turn this into a fully renewable process that is carbon neutral. One of the challenges is that right now our catalyst is dissolved together with the plastic as well as the solvent. So the issue is that then in order for us to recover the catalyst, we actually have to put in energy to remove the solvent. So we want to actually develop a system that we can just separate from the products and the starting materials without actually putting more energy into it.
Other methods of recycling plastic typically require it to be melted down using fossil fuels, which produce climate-damaging greenhouse gases. But so far, only tiny amounts of plastic have been converted into formic acid. And Sue conceded there are challenges to replicating the process on a bigger scale. More manpower and funding were needed to develop it. And so far, scientists have tested it only on pieces of pure plastic and not waste. When the city of Memphis celebrated its 200th birthday this year, the city built a gigantic landmark to commemorate the occasion. EBC correspondent Elmarie Gonzalez gives us a closer look at this newest landmark. Take a look.
Hello from Memphis, Tennessee. One of the landmarks to see on your next visit to Memphis is its gigantic sign. Built in May 2019 to commemorate the city's 200th anniversary, this multicolored monument is 50 feet long and comprised of steel block letters, each 10 feet high and weighing a total of 20,000 pounds, and sits on a foundation of 147,000 pounds of concrete. As a way to draw more visitors to Mud Island, a Memphis River Park, this unique art installation has already garnered much attention, especially from social media enthusiasts eager to display their selfie photos with the hashtag Memphis sign. The sign was built to endure all weather conditions and seismic durability. The designer Tyler French of Youngblood Studios stated that this sign isn't going anywhere for a long time. Reporting from Memphis, Tennessee, I am Elmarie Gonzalez, 1B25.
That is today's Eagle News. Join us again tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. Once again, thank you for watching. I am Rose Papa Angeles, and I am 1 with 25.
Kapag ang puso'y natutong magmahal, bawat
tamang impormasyon. Napapanahon. Mula Batanes hanggang taon-taon. Di lamang sa bansa, kundi maging sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Mga balitang pakabuluhan, mga panayam sa kinauukulan, subaybayan. Dito lamang sa Net 25. News, entertainment, technology.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave some love by giving it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe here at ABC Digital Nest so you don't miss any of our upcoming features.
Magandang umaga Pilipinas, ngayon po ay Miyerkules, Desyembre 18, 2019. Narito na mga balitang pumapagaspas saan mang panig ng Pilipinas. Ako po si Pia Okut Galang at ito ang Agila, Pilipinas. Sa ulo ng mga balita. Retrieval operation sa gumuhong grocery store sa Davao del Sur itinigil na. Malacanang umaasang iiral ang hustisya sa Maguindanao Massacre case. Muzzle ng baril ng mga pulis ngayong holiday season, hindi nalalagyan ng tape ng Philippine National Police. At historic Alberto Mansion o bahay na bato sa Binian City, Laguna, muli ng pinasinayaan. Itinigil na ang retrieval operation sa isang grocery store sa Padada, Davao del Sur na gumuho matapos tumama ang magnitude 6.9 na lindol sa lugar nitong December 15. Ayon kay Incident Commander Engineer Luke Cadoyas, itinigil na ang operasyon nitong Martes ng gabi matapos na makumpirmang wala ng bangkay sa gumuhong gusali. Ang 3 palapag-anya na gusali ay hinihintay na lamang para sa demolisyon. Dagdag pa ni Cadoyas, kokordonan at babantayan ito ng mga pulis laban sa mga posibleng looter. Samantala muling niyanig po ng magnitude 5.3 na lindol ang Davao del Sur kaninang madaling araw. Ayon sa datos ng Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology of PHIVOLCS, tumama ang lindol sa layong 28 kilometers o 28 kilometro sa silangan ng Padada. May lalim ito na 9 na kilometro at tectonic po ang origin nito. Naramdaman ang intensity 5 sa Digos City habang intensity 4 naman sa General Santos City. Bagamat wala itong inaasahan na pinsala sa lugar, ay patuloy na ibinabala ng PHIVOLCS ang mga aftershock. Tumama ang lindol ilang araw matapos ang pagtama ng magnitude 6.9 na lindol nitong linggo. Naging emosyonal si Davao del Sur Congresswoman Mercedes Cagas sa pagdinig ng Commission on Appointments sa nominasyon ni Agriculture Secretary William Dar. Humingi kasi ng tulong si Cagas sa kalihim para paspasan na ang paggawa ng mga farm-to-market road na nawasak ng lindol noong Oktubre na anyay pinalalapan ng panibagong lindol na tumama nitong Sabado na umaabot sa magnitude 6.9. Sinabi ni Cagas na matinding trauma ang kinakaharap ngayon ng kanyang mga kababayan sa Davao del Sur at karamihan sa kanila hindi natutulog sa loob ng bahay. Maraming bahay anya ang nawasak at halos sa kalsada na nakatira ang mga tao. Umapila ang kongresista ng tulong sa mga kapwa kongresista at mga senador, kabilang na ang tubig at mga tarpaulin para may pansamantalang masilungan ang mga residente.
Ang sentiments namin because people are no longer sleeping inside their house. Sirang-sira ang mga bahay nila. Then even the governor, kasi ganitong na calamity, walang pinipili, maski presidente ka o governor ka. Lahat kami wasap pati ang bahay ko. Experience ko talaga. And then you cannot stand up. It's so strong. The earthquake is so strong.
How traumatic?
Well, that's a concern about life. It's not only me, but more on my husband and my son and my grandson and the people of Davao del Sur.
Samantala, good news po, simula sa December 23 ay pagkakaalooban ng 5,000 pesos na ayuda ang mga magsasakang apektado ng pagbaba sa presyo ng palay. Inanunsyo ito ng Department of Agriculture. Ang gobyerno sa pamamagitan ng Land Bank of the Philippines at Development Bank of the Philippines ay sisimula ng paglalabas ng cash grant sa pamamagitan ng Rise of Farmer Financial Assistance Program sa December 23. Ayon kay Agriculture Secretary William Dar, may nilikha silang guideline sa pagpili sa unang 33 rice-producing provinces at mga kwalipikadong magsasaka bilang benepisyaryo. Ang Pangasinan at Nueva Ecija niya ang mga prioridad na lugar dahil ang mga magsasaka roon ang pinakatinamaan ng mababang presyo ng palay matapos na malagdaan ngayong taon ang Rice Tarification Law. Sa nasabing batas ay inaalis ang quantitative restriction sa rice imports at nagpapataw ng 35% na taripa sa mga import mula sa Southeast Asia. Pinabilis na po ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources ang proseso sa pagkuha ng Environmental Compliance Certificates o ECC para sa mga proyektong nasa ilalim ng Build Program. Ayon kay Environment Undersecretary Benny Antiporda, nagkaroon ng delay sa pagpapatuloy ng mga proyekto dahil lamang sa clearance. Sa ilalim ng DNR Administrative Order No. 2019-16, nakasaad na dapat nang makumpleto ang ECC sa loob ng 20 araw sa halip na 40 araw. Bumuo na rin ng grupo ang DENR na tututok sa review at evaluation ng mga ECC application ng mga proyektong sakop ng infrastructure campaign ng gobyerno. Sa taong 2020 ay target ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources o DNR na gawing swimmable o maaari nang muling languyan ang Baywalk area ng Manila Bay. Sa Eden Santos sa detalye.
Plano ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources na gawing swimmable muli ang Baywalk area ng Manila Bay. Ayon kay DNR Undersecretary for Solid Waste Management and Local Government Units Concerns, Benny Antiporda, sisikapin nila na matamo ang target na 100 ml na coliform level sa tubig ng Manila Bay sa susunod na taon upang muling makapag-swimming doon.
Some of the places are already swimmable. Wherein yan po yung pinangako ng ating butihing kalihim Roy Simato na bago matapos ang isang taon ay meron tayong ma-identify ng mga swimmable areas, no? Some of the swimmable areas that we can see also can be found in Cavite area, but the main objective of our good secretary is of course the Baywalk area, which is the heart of Manila Bay. Yan yung itinuturing nating puso dahil nandun talaga yung tao wherein the famous sunset view dyan po nakikita.
Binigyan din pa nito na magpapatayo sila ng karagdagang mga palikuran sa Baywalk, particular na sa bahagi ng Manila Yacht Club at US Embassy. Ay nga bahagi ito ng kanilang Sewerage Treatment Plan o STP. Ang inaugurasyon ng mga ito ay kasabay ng unang taong anibersaryo ng Manila Bay Cleanup sa January 26, 2020.
We're running out of time because we will be celebrating our 1 year of the cleanup on the 26th of January. We started January 27, no? Itong 26, magsa-celebrate tayo ng first anniversary natin. And pray to God that we'll be permitted to inaugurate also or cut the ribbon of the STP project in Baywalk area.
Ipinagmalaki naman ng opisyal ang mga naging accomplishment ng DNR sa taong ito, kabilang na ang Boracay Rehabilitation, paglilinis sa mga estero, Manila Bay Cleanup at iba pa. Para sa Eagle News, Eden Santos, IM1 with 25.
Ang iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik po ng Agila, Pilipinas.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Annyeong bonjour, konnichiwa, hello! Kumusta po sa lahat ng viewers namin dito sa Pilipinas? Ako si Ate DJ and you can watch me and Teacher Sally here on Net25 Kids Live. You can catch me every Tuesdays and Thursdays on Anong Sa Inyo, and you can catch Teacher Sally every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays here actually on this set. This is the Kid Kwento set. Iniimbitahan po namin kayong lahat na manood ng shows ng Net25 through OSN. You can now watch Net25 shows on the OSN channel 725. Panoorin nyo ang mga favorite Net25 shows nyo live and on demand, anytime, anywhere, and on any mobile device on OSN Play. Dito sa Net25 and OSN, siguradong at home kayo dito. Again, I am Ate DJ and I am 1 with 25.
Hindi lamang bagyo at pagbaha ang dapat na paghandaan ng taong bayan, kundi maging ang lindol. Ayon sa PBOX, hindi alam kung kailan tatama ang isang malakas na lindol o the big one sa oras na gumalaw ang West Valley Fault na nasa Metro Manila. Kaya bago pa man ang lindol, alamin kung ang inyong mga lugar ay nasa dinaraanan o malapit sa active fault. Tiyakin na matibay ang pagkakagawa ng bahay o gusali. Itali ang mga mabibigat na kagamitan o kasangkapan sa dingding upang maiwasan ang pagkahulog. Ang mga babasagin, mga nakalalasong kemikal at mga bagay na madaling magliyab ay dapat na nakatago sa pinakailalim na bahagi ng mga istante at hindi madaling magalaw o matapon. Maging pamilyar sa mga tinatawag na exit routes, alamin kung nasaan ang fire extinguisher, first aid kit, alarmang pangligtas at emergency exits at communication facilities. Maghanda ng emergency supply kit na naglalaman ng debateryang transistor, flashlight, first aid kit, tubig na maiinom, candy, mga dilata at iba pang ready-to-eat na pagkain, pito at gas mask. At higit sa lahat, magsagawa at lumahok ng regular na earthquake drill. Tandaan, susi sa mabisang pagpaplano sa kalamidad ay ang kahandaan.
Umaasa ang Malacanang na iiral ang hustisya sa kaso ng Maguindanao Massacre sa nakatakdang paglalabas ng desisyon ng Quezon City Court sa Huwebes. Ayon kay Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo, pagdedesisyonan ng korte ang batayan ng ebidensya at umaasa silang makakamit ng mga partido, partikular ng prosekusyon ang hustisya. Tumanggi naman si Panelo na magbigay ng kanyang personal na opinyon sa nalalapit na promulgation. Si Panelo ay dating abogado ni Dato Unsay Maguindanao Mayor Andal Ampatuan Jr. na ang pangunahing akusado ng kaso. Pinabura ng Quezon City Regional Trial Court ang mosyon ng prosekusyon na pabalaki na sa kulungan mula sa ospital si dating ARMM Governor Zaldi Ampatuan na isa sa mga pangunahing akusado sa Maguindanao Massacre case. Sa kautusan ni Branch 221 Presiding Judge Jocelyn Solis Reyes, nakitaan nito ng merito ang hirit ng prosekusyon. Kasabay nito, ibinasura ng hukom ang hiling ni Ampatuan na palawigin ang kanyang pananatili sa ospital. Isinugod sa Taguig Pateros District Hospital at kalaunan ay inilipat sa ICU ng Makati Medical Center noong October 21 dahil sa sakit sa puso. Ayon kay Judge Reyes, wala nang dahilan para ma-confine sa pagamutan si Ampatuan dahil pwede naman itong sumailalim sa rehabilitation sa loob ng kulungan. Malinaw anya sa medical abstract ni Ampatuan na nagpapatuloy na lang ito sa rehabilitasyon. Pilipinas posibleng mawala na sa listahan ng most dangerous countries para sa mga mamamahayag kung makakuha ng paborableng desisyon sa Maguindanao Massacre case. Si Madeline Villar Moratillo sa detalye.
Naniniwala si Presidential Communication Operation Office of PCO Secretary Martin Haganar na mawawala ng Pilipinas sa listahan ng most dangerous countries para sa mga mamamahayag kung makakakuha ng paborableng desisyon sa Maguindanao Massacre case. Matatandaan na 32 mamamahayag na nasawi sa Maguindanao Massacre na naganap noong Nobyembre 23 ng 2009. Sa isang pulong balitan sa Maynila, sinabi ni Haganar na ang Maguindanao Massacre ang pinakamadugong karahasang nangyari sa hari ng mga mamamahayag kung saan 32 ang namatay sa loob lang ng isang araw. Batay sa listahan ng New York-based media watchdog na Committee to Protect Journalists, panglima ang Pilipinas sa pinakamapanganib na bansa para sa mga mamamahayag. Maliban sa Pilipinas, nasa nasabing listahan din ang Somalia, Syria, Iraq at Mexico. Kasabay nito, tiniyak ni Andanal na ginagawa ng pamahalaan ng lahat para matiyak ang seguridad ng mga mamamahayag sa bansa at hindi na maulit ang mga ganitong uri ng karahasan. Para sa Eagle News, Madeline Villar Moratillo, I'm 125.
30 loose firearms i-turn over ng local government unit ng Esperanza sa 6th Infantry Brigade sa Maguindanao. May detalye si Eric Bachiller.
Halos hindi na mabilang ang mga matataas na klaseng mga baril ang na-turn over sa mga kasundaluhan galing sa mga LGU na sakop ng Maguindanao na ang iba pa ay ginamit umano sa isang labanan ng angkan o rido. Kaya sa patuloy na programa ng gobyerno na maging responsable ang individual lalo na kung may mga baril nitong pag-aari. Sa pakikipagkaisa na rin nag-turn over ng 30 na pirasong mga matataas na klaseng armas ang pamalaang bayan ng Esperanza sa parehong probinsya sa pamunuan ng 2nd Mechanized Infantry Battalion sa pangunguna ni Lieutenant Colonel Omar Orozco, Commanding Officer. Kinabibilangan ito ng 8 caliber 30 Grand Rifles, 4 caliber 45 Thompson submachine guns, 1 caliber 30 bolt action rifle, 14 na 12 gauge shotgun, 1 M203 grenade launcher, 1 20 gauge shotgun, 1 Springfield rifle, mga magazine at mga bala. Pinuri naman ang ng commander ng 6th Infantry Division at Joint Task Force Central Command na si Major General Diosdado Cariona ang mga LGU na kaisa sa pagpapanatili ng kapayapaan sa mga nasasakupan. Para sa Eagle News, Eric Bachiller, I am 1 with 95.
Hindi nalalagyan ng tape ng Philippine National Police ang muzzle ng baril ng mga pulis ngayong holiday season. Pero babala ng PNP, sisibakin at mahaharap sa kasong administratibo ang mga pulis na magpapaputok ng kanilang baril. Ang detalye sa report ni Mar Gabriel.
Gaya noong mga nagdaang taon, hindi na ulit lalagyan ng tape ng PNP ang muzzle ng baril ng mga pulis ngayong holiday season. Ayon kay PNP Deputy Chief for Operations, Lieutenant General Camilo Pasculan, ito ay para ipakita na may tiwala sila sa kanilang mga tauhan.
We will give our trust to our people. Diba? Mahirap naman po na hindi natin pagkatiwalaan yung mga tao natin. Mas maganda nga diba? During the previous years, walang muzzle taping, pero kokonti ang kwan. Wala nga yata last year or 2 years. For 2 years na, wala yatang pulis na maril or nagpaputok.
Pero babala ni Kaskulan, magpapatupad sila ng one-strike policy sa mga pulis na magpapaputok ng baril. Ibig sabihin, otomatikong sisibakin sa pwesto ang mga pulis, gayon din ang kanilang mga commander. Sasampahan din sila ng kasong grave misconduct, habang neglect of duty naman ang kakaharapin ng kanilang mga commander at mga chief of police. Target ng PNP ang zero incident ngayong taon. Noong nakaraang taon, umabot sa 33 insidente ng indiscriminate firing at 12 stray bullets ang naitala ng PNP.
Even if we would be able to evaluate that the commander has not done his interventions and initiatives for our people not to shoot their firearms, they will be filed the case. Kakasuhan po natin sila, pati yung commander nila.
Anong admin case, sir, sa commander?
Well, command responsibility, yes.
Samantala, naka-full alert na ang buong pwersa ng PNP simula noong linggo bilang paghahanda sa holiday season at sa anibersaryo ng Communist Party of the Philippines. Aabot sa 67,000 pulis ang nakatakdang ipakalat sa mga vital installation gaya ng mga terminal at mall at iba pang matataong lugar. Para sa Eagle News, Mar Gabriel, I am one with 25.
Pupulungin ng Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board o LTFRB ang mga Transportation Network Companies o TNC sa linggong ito. Sa gagawing pagpupulong ay pag-uusapan ang reklamong natatanggap ng ahensya mula sa mga pasahero na umaaray sa mataas na pamasahe. Ayon sa LTFRB, marami nang nagrereklamo tungkol sa mahal na pamasahe lalo na nang pumasok ang buwan ng Disyembre. Sinabi ng LTFRB na ang standard base fare ay 40 pesos at 10 pesos hanggang 15 pesos naman ang dagdag na singil sa bawat kilometro at 2 pesos sa bawat minuto. Ang surge cap umano ay katumbas ng doble ng pasahe depende sa daloy ng trapiko. Tiwala po ang Metropolitan Manila Development Authority o MMDA na malaki ang maitutulong sa problema sa masikip na daloy ng trapiko ng Pasig River Ferry System. Ayon kay MMDA General Manager Jojo Garcia, bagamat hindi pa 100% plansyado, ang ferry service ay unti-unti na nilang sinasanay ang mga motorista sa paggamit nito lalo na sa pagpasok ng 2020. Anya, kayang magsakay ng 4 na ferry ang nasa 60 o 600 pasahero kada araw. May tuturing na rin umano itong alternatibong sakayan ng mga motorista lalo na at may parating pang mga donasyong ferry boats. Tumaas ang remittances ng overseas Filipino workers o OFWs ngayong taon. Ayon sa Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas o BSP, umaabot ang remittances sa halos $3 billion o mahigit 7% na mas mataas sa unang 10 buwan noong 2018 na nasa $2.75 billion lamang. Ayon sa BSP, sa Amerika pa rin nagmumula ang pinakamataas na remittance at sinundan ng Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Japan, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, Hong Kong at Kuwait. Posible umanong matagalan pa bago bumalik sa normal ang presyo ng galunggong sa mga pamilihan. Kaya gaya ng payo ni Senador Cynthia Villar, sinabi ng Department of Agriculture na tangkilikin muna ang iba pang isda habang mataas ang presyo ng galunggong. Si Mean Corvera sa detalye.
Matatagalan pa bago bumalik sa normal ang presyo ng galunggong sa mga pamilihan. Ayon kay Agriculture Secretary William Dar, sa Marso hanggang Abril pa ang susunod na harvest season at dito pa inaasahang dadagsa ang supply na nangangahulugan rin ng pagbaba ng presyo. Pero tulad ng payo ni Senador Cynthia Villar sa publiko, sinabi ng kalihim na makabubuti kung hindi mo nakakain ng galunggong habang mataas pa ang presyo.
I almost believe that there are many other sources of fishes na pwedeng kainin ng isang Pilipino. Huwag tayo naman, although it was considered early days na 4 months meat ito, ay ngayon ay mataas di, huwag ka na bumili dun sa galunggong. Bumili ka sa mas mura na available naman sa merkado. Bangus, tilapia, at iba't iba pa, marami naman ibang mga sources pa na galing sa oceans. So ako, gano'n, ibabalanse natin yon. Let's not make it na galunggong will be, the mainstay.
Gayunman, inatasan niya na raw ang Bureau of Aquatic Resources na mag-import ng mahigit 45 tonelada ng isda kasama na ang galunggong noong nakaraang linggo. Sasapataan niya ito para sa pangailangan ng publiko ngayong holiday season.
Hoping na bababa yung presyo, but my long-term answer to that ay wag tayo umasa na galunggong lang ang ulam natin. Marami pang ibang sources ng protina. Well, by April, starts to harvest again, to capture again, meaning mas marami ka ng supply. So, it's the law of supply and demand that will prevail. It's market forces.
Samantala, lilimitahan muna niya ang importasyon ng bigas dahil na rin sa pagdagsa ng supply nito sa merkado. Sinabi ni Dar na sa kanilang inventory may sapat na supply hanggang sa susunod na harvest season.
So, that has been the case since March 5 of this year. And so today, our data would indicate that there are about 3 million metric tons of rice that have been imported. And if you consider this plus the local production this quarter of 2019, our rice inventory by the end of this year will be good for 100 days. So enough na rice supply.
Samantala, lumusot na sa makapangyarihang Commission on Appointments ang nominasyon ni Dar bilang kalihim ng Department of Agriculture. Si Dar ang pumalit sa sinibak na si dating Secretary Manny Piñol. Si Dar ang dating Director General ng International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics na naging acting DA Secretary noong panahon ni dating Pangulong Joseph Estrada. Para sa Eagle News, Mayan Corvera, IM1 with 25.
Ang iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Agila, Pilipinas.
Patuloy ang pagtaas ng kaso ng dengue sa bansa. Kaya naman, mahalagang alamin ang mga sintomas para sa agarang aksyon. Gaya ng lagnat, pananakit sa likod ng mata, pananakit ng ulo, rashes, pagsusuka, at pananakit at pamamaga ng mga kasukasuan. Kapag may lagnat ng lagpas ng 2 araw, magpakonsulta agad.
Net25 is now available on OSN, the largest entertainment network in the Middle East and North Africa. Watch your favorite Net25 shows on OSN channel 725, same day as the Philippines. Net25 shows live and on demand anytime, anywhere, on any mobile device on OSN Play.
This is one of the few films na, even if I had to go to the bathroom, di ako makatayo talaga kasi talagang na-engage ako. This is storytelling at its best.
Ganda-ganda ng pelikula, drama and comedy. For sure, makakapulot po kayo ng magandang aral at doon sa mga nakakaranas ng depression. Ito yung pelikula na mag-aano sa atin para hindi ma-depress sa buhay.
Action ko, ang ganda ng pelikula. Kompleto siya. Basang-basahin pa niyo kakayak. At saka papatawanin, ang galing ng bata. Yung mga kulturang nakakalimutan na natin na pwede ibalik dito.
Na-break niya yung superstar system dito sa movie na pwede rin gumawa ng isang magandang pelikula without any main stars.
Napakaganda ng pelikula, napakagaling ng director at ng cast. Napanood ko yung part 1. Mas maganda pa rin tong part 2 at nag-step up.
Kaya mga kababayan, inikayat ko kayong panoodin nyo ang Guerrero 2.
Yes, I highly recommend po yung pelikula. Panoorin niyo po.
Kailangan mapanood talaga ng mas nakakarami pang mga Pilipino.
Hello everyone, inibigyan ko na kayo manood ng Guerrero 2, Tuloy ang Laban.
Guerrero 2, Tuloy ang Laban.
Guerrero 2, Tuloy ang Laban.
Guerrero 2.
Guerrero 2, Guerrero 2. Guerrero 2.
Tuloy ang laban. Tuloy ang laban. Tuloy pa rin ang laban.
Tuloy ang laban. Guerrero 2, Tuloy ang laban.
Tinatayang nasa 2,000 pabahay ang ipagkakaloob sa mga certified indigent family at mula sa hanay ng uniform personnel sa itatayong Lakeshore Smart City sa bahagi ng Laguna Lake sa Rizal. Ang detalye sa report ni Gerald Ranyes.
Tinatayang nasa 1,000 pabahay ang libreng ipagkakaloob ng Torque Village Development Incorporated mula sa sektor ng mga mahirap, partikular ang mga certified indigent families at 1,000 libreng pabahay rin ang ipagkakaloob mula naman sa hanay ng mga uniform personnel. Ang proyektong Lakeshore Smart City ay kinapapalooban ng modernong konsepto ng teknolohiya na dinesign mismo ng mga Pinoy. Kamakailan lang ay isinagawa ang launching ng proyekto na itatayo umano sa lupang arenda sa probinsya ng Rizal, kung saan ito umano ang kauna-unahang modelo ng pagiging smart city, kung saan self-sustainable umano mula sa mga facilities, amenities, electricities, water supply at livelihood program.
Ito po yung Torque Village Development Incorporated ay tinatag ng mga ordinary Pilipino para magkaroon ng tamang partisipasyon sa ating pamahalaan. So ito ay katugunan lang ng panawagan ng Pangulong Duterte. So nabuo yung Torque Village Development Incorporated as developer para mabigyan natin ng solusyon. Una yung pabahay, pangalawa yung kahirapan, and then yung sustainable. At mabigyan natin yung ating mga uniform like the Philippine Army and the PNP ng quality housing, even ng mga indigent dito. So ito yung purpose ngayon, yung mga nandito, ng mga tao na dumalo, isa ito sila sa mga beneficiary natin na makakamit at bibigyan natin ng magandang pabahay at negosyo sa loob ng Smart City.
Kailangan yung development self-sustaining, saka sustainable. So kasi kita natin yung mga syudad ngayon, masyado na matraffic, yung pollution masyado mataas, saka yung population natin, dumadami na tayo. So, kailangan may solution yun. So, yung design development natin, yung inspiration natin actually mga yung Singapore, Dubai, yung tawag nila doon mga smart cities, wherein may marriage ng architecture, city planning, information and communications technology, data, lahat yun. Kasi mangyayari, monitor lahat ng yung mga sasakyan. Tapos yung vision dito is looking to the future. Kung pwede, electric car. Okay? Kasi tapos yung mga daan, lahat ng daan, yung mga street lights, kahit yung mga trash can, may mga sensor lahat yon. So, meron tayong center, parang command center or magiging utak ng buong syudad na mamomonitor lahat ng information. Malalam kung yung basurahan yung puno na, kailangan nang i-pick up. O malalaman din kung yung energy consumption ng isang building na ito masyadong mataas. Kasi lahat connected through the Internet of Things.
Ayon sa tagapangulo ng Torque Village Development Incorporated, binuo ang proyektong ito upang makatulong sa mahihirap na mabigyan ng pagkakataon na maiangat ang uri ng pamumuhay.
So, lahat po kami ay volunteer upang matulungan din po namin ang aming mga kababayan. At ito ay ginawa ko po ang project na ito para umunlad ang ating mga kababayan
Sa abot po ng aking makakaya at ng aking mga kasamahan na nakikipagtulungan po sa gusto kong mangyari.
Kaya naman maituturing na isang napakalaking tulong at pagkakataon para sa mga magiging benepisyaryo kung maisa sa katuparan ito.
Siyempre ako naman din kasi gusto magkabahay talaga, nag-abil ako. Ay, ito, kung totoo to, talagang napakaganda talaga kasi pabor sa amin to ng mga mahirap. Kasi sino bang hindi mag-ano dyan na mahirap kami, magkakaroon kami ng pabahay na ganito.
Sa ngayon, ayon sa pamunuan ng Third Village Development Incorporated, inaayos na umano ang requirements upang masimulan na ang konstruksyon sa sinasabing Smart City.
Ito ay 115 hectares na ano na natin yung master plan, tapos na halos ang master plan ito. Ito ay magiging walang sagapal at a-align yung pamalaan, yung mga clearances ay kaya-kaya naming itatayo ito sa loob ng 6 na buwan. Dahil ready po yung aming funding yung sa United Kingdom. So they have allocate the funds. No? So sobra-sobra pa yung pondo na ibinigay para i-implement yung smart city dito sa ating bansa. Actually, yung ibibigay natin tahanan ay wala ho silang babayaran dito. Ang inano lang po dito, kami lahat ay nagkaroon ng seed capital. Kaya lahat po ng pasama po dito ay nagkaroon po ng kumbaga responsibilities. Ito po yung pledging. Pero sila po yung kanilang investment ay napasama po dito sa naging stockholder sila ng Turks Village Development Incorporated po.
Para sa Eagle News, Gerald Ranyes Ayamon with 25.
Inaprubahan na ng Kamara sa ikalawang pagbasa ang panukalang nagbibigay ng authorization sa Department of Health o DOH na itakda ang bed capacity at service capability sa mga DOH retained hospital. Batay sa House Bill No. 5673 na inihain ni Cavite Representative Elpidio Barzaga Jr., mahalaga na dumaan sa proseso ang pagbibigay ng maayos na health services. Sa ilalim din ng nasabing batas, magiging pangunahing ahensya ang DOH sa Philippine Health Facility Development Plan na gagabay sa modernization at development plans ng lahat ng mga government health facility. Makikipagdialogo ang Department of Education o DepEd sa mga guro upang talakayin ang mga hamon at solusyon upang mas mapaganda ang edukasyon sa bansa. Sinabi ni Education Secretary Leonor Briones, hinihikayat nila ang mga ito na palawakin ang kanilang mga kasanayan at maging upskill teachers. Ito ay upang maipanalo ang mga mag-aaral at maging quality learner. Hakbang ito ng DepEd kasunod ng naging resulta ng 2018 Program for International Student Assessment o PISA, kung saan nasa pang-79 na pwesto ang bansa. Binatikos ng Cultural Youth Group na Panday Sining ang panukalang naglalayong magpataw ng hanggang 15 taong pagkakabilanggo sa sinumang masasangkot sa bandalismo at pagnanakaw o pagsira sa mga ari-arian ng gobyerno. Ayon sa Panday Sining, layon lamang umano ng nasabing panukala na alisin ang mga pahayag na protesta tungkol sa sahod, trabaho, edukasyon, karapatan at ang kalayaan sa mga lansangan. Kung naisaan nila ng gobyerno na alisin ang mga panawagan sa pader ay dapat na solusyonan ang mga nakapintang panawagan. O narito, idiniklara ng pamahalaang lungsod ng Maynila na persona non grata ang Panday Sining dahil sa ginawa ng mga itong bandalismo sa mga pader ng ilang establishmento. 80 personnel ng BJMP sa Region 9 na promote sa pamamagitan ng isinagawang donning of ranks sa Pagadian City. May detalye si Ferdinand Libor.
Mismong si Regional Director Jail Senior Superintendent Johnson Calob ang nanguna sa donning of ranks ng 80 mga BJMP personnel sa Region 9 na ginanap sa isang hotel sa Pagadian City. Kadalasan ng mga personnel na na-promote ay mula sa Jail Officer 1 hanggang Jail Senior Officer 4. Ayon kay RD Calob, karapat-dapat na ma-promote ang kanilang mga personnel na dedikado sa trabaho at maraming nagawa sa kanilang bureau. Masaya naman ang mga na-promote ngayong taon, ngunit anila, ang promosyon ay panibagong hamon sa trabaho dahil may kaakibat rin itong mabigat na gampanin. Ipinangako naman ng mga na-promote na lalo pa nilang pagbubutihin ang kanilang trabaho na magampanan ang kanilang tungkulin sa bayan sa abot ng kanilang makakaya na base na rin sa mandato ng kanilang bureau. Mula rito sa Zamboanga del Sur, para sa Agila, Ferdinand Libor, I am one with the fight.
3 miyembro ng Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighter o BIFF na nag-ooperate sa lalawigan ng Maguindanao sumuko na sa pamahalaan. May detalye si Eric Bachiller.
3 miyembro umano ng Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighter at Dawla Islamiyah Terror Group ang panibagong sumuko sa mga kasundaluhan sa ilalim ng 6th Infantry Division sa Camp Siongco, Maguindanao. Kinilala ang mga sumuko na sina Ustads Yasser Saligan alias Ustads, Norodin Dalinding alias Survivor at Omar Tatang alias Joe. Kabilang na isinuko ang kanilang mga baril na isang M14 rifle, isang M1 Garand rifle at 2 81mm na hindi pa sumabog. Ayon pa sa mga sumukong rebelde na pagpasyahan nila na sumuko na lamang dahil lagi silang tinutugis ng mga kasundaluhan at pakonti na umano ang kanilang pinagtataguan. Bukod na hindi na umano sila paggagamit sa maling prinsipyo ng teroristang grupo na maghasik ng kaguluhan sa lugar. Kaya panawagan naman ni Joint Task Force Central Commander at 6th Infantry Division Commander na si Major General Diosdado Cariona na makipagtulungan na lang ang mga sumukong rebelde na hikayatin ang mga kasamahan nila upang makinabang din sa programa ng gobyerno na ICLIP. Para sa Eagle News, Eric Bachiller, I am one with 25.
Ang iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Agila, Pilipinas.
Para sa mga viewers namin sa Middle East at North Africa via OSN, hello po sa inyong lahat dyan. Ako po si Sam Cepeda.
Ako po si Olivia Nagit Figueroa at araw-araw tayong magkasama sa Mata ng Agila.
Dito po sa Net25 at OSN, sigurado at home ka dito.
What we call Svar one of the most famous landmarks here in Stavanger, Norway. And if you want to see more of the tourist spots like this, just tune into Digital every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30 p.m. I am managing Mihia from Stavanger, Norway, always run with 25.
Mga uri ng kwento. May iba't ibang uri ng kwento. Ang kwento ay maaaring salimbag o dilimbag na panitikan, mga pang-araw-araw na karanasan at imahinasyon. Narito ang mga uri ng kwento. Pabula ang tawag sa kwento na ang lahat o ang pangunahing tauhan ay mga hayop na may katangiang pantao. Kadalasan, may aral na hatid ang pabula. Ang alamat naman ay kwento ng mga pinagmulan ng iba't ibang bagay, lugar o pangyayari. Ang kwentong bayan ay nagsasalaysay ng buhay, pag-ibig at pakikipagsapalaran ng tauhan sa isang di kapani-paniwalang sitwasyon at lugar. Madalas din na ito ay mga kwentong naipasa mula pa sa mga ninuno at matatanda. Parabola ang tawag sa mga kwento na hango sa Biblia o banal na kasulatan. Ang epiko ay mahabang tulang pasalaysay na maaaring awitin. Mga uri ng kwento.
Agila Balita, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 12 ng tanghali hanggang 1:00 ng hapon.
Apat na criminology student nalunod sa dagupan. Dalawa sa mga ito na-recover na ng mga otoridad. May report si Eagle News correspondent Nora Dominguez.
Apat na estudyanteng nalunod sa baybay ng Bagong Baryo sa Bunuan Gazette sa Dagupan City. Ayon sa Dagupan City Police, na-recover ng 3, 2 rito ay patay na ng matagpuan habang ang isa ay under observation sa paggamutan at pinaghahanap ang isa pa matapos silang tangayin ng malaking alon habang nagsuswimming pasado alas 5 kahapon. Ang mga biktima ay nakilalang sina Mark Christian Cruz Ibayaca, 18 anyos, na na-recover kahapon ng bangkay. Ito'y tagabayan ng Manawag, isang Daniel John Machas Bautista na natagpuan ng isang mangingisda kaninang alas 2 ng madaling araw sa baybayin ng Bagong Baryo. Nasa pagamutan at under observation naman ang isa na si Chris Russell Manuel at tagabayan ng Dasul.
Ang ganda daw ng kwento nila naman kasi hanggang bewang lang naman daw yung tubig. Later on, bigla daw yung at wala na silang malalang matapuan yung paano sa langit. Na-recover ulit yung isa. Pero sa isang mangingisda, nabingwit niya ko yung natin. Yung victim. Ako, yung victim na isa. Ay ngayon, nung nakuha niya, humingi siya ng tulong sa mga kasama niya at sinakay sa bangko para ganito yung. Kaya medyo nagtagal na nakapag-report niya sila ng mga passport itong umaga sa mga PNP.
Patuloy naman na pinaghahanap ang isa pa na si Jobert Verso sa Pasayan, tagabayan ng Lingayen. Ang mga biktima ay pawang criminology student sa University of Luzon sa Dagupan City. Lumalabas sa investigasyon na pinasyalan ng mga biktimang isa nilang kaklase sa Bagong Baryo at pasado alas 5 ng hapon kahapon ay nagkaayang mag-swimming ang mga ito. Masayang nagsiswimming umano ang mga biktima at nasa hanggang dibdib ang lalim ng tubig nang biglang tangayin ng malakas na alon at pare-parehong naglaho sa tubig. Ayon sa Dagupan City Police, hindi akma para sa swimming purpose ang bahaging ito dahil biglang pailalim ang bahaging ito kung saan nalunod ang mga biktima. Nagpaalala ang Dagupan PNP sa mga beachgoers na iwasan ang malalim na bahagi ng baybayin sa tabi ng BJMP dahil hindi inirekomenda ang mag-swimming dito. Mayroon naman ng designated na lugar para sa swimming sa Tundaligan at iba yung pag-iingat upang makaiwas sa katulad na trahedya.
Meron po tayong area para po sa mga swimmer. Dahil doon po, mayroon ding hangganan or may sign doon kung hanggang saan. May buya. Yes po, doon po yung At sana ho, kung may mga ganyan, sana ipaalam sa mga magulang mo kung saan mo na kayo pumupunta.
Mula sa Pangasinan, para sa Eagle News, Nora Dominguez, IM125.
Simula sa susunod na taon, papatawan na rin ng buwis ang mga e-cigarettes gaya ng vape. Ito ay matapos aprubahan kagabi ng Senado ang panukalang itaas ang ipinapataw na excise tax sa mga alcohol products at e-cigarettes. 20 senador ang bumoto pabor sa Senate Bill number 1074 na una ng sinertipikahang urgent ni Pangulong Duterte. Inadap rin ng Senado ang amyenda ni Senate President Pro Tempore Ralph Recto na nag-i-exempt sa mga impormasyon ng prescription medicine sa value-added tax. Sa computations ng Department of Finance, aabot sa 47.9 billion pesos ang makukolektang dagdag na buwis sa unang taon ng implementasyon na ilalaan naman sa Universal Healthcare Program ng gobyerno. Sa ating ulat panahon, easterlies na lamang ang tanging weather system na nakakaapekto po sa buong bansa. Ayon sa Pag-asa, ngayong araw ay maulap na kalangitan na may kalat-kalat na pag-ulan, pagkulog at paghidlat ang mararanasan sa Eastern Visayas at Caraga. Sa Metro Manila at ang nalalabing bahagi naman ng bansa, maalinsangang panahon ang mararanasan na may posibilidad pa rin na mga panandaliang pag-ulan dulot ng localized thunderstorms. Pagbubukas ng historic Alberto Mansion sa Binian City, inilunsad. May report si Eagle News correspondent Antonio Lagunoy Jr.
Pinasinayaan na ang pagbubukas ng Historic Alberto Mansion o Bahay na Bato sa Binyan City, Laguna. Ang Alberto Mansion ay dating tirahan ni Teodora Alonso, ina ng ating pambansang bayani na si Got Jose Rizal. Ang bahay ay dati nang nagiba, ngunit ito ay binili ng pamahalang lungsod ng Binyan upang hindi mawala ang makasaysayang tirahang ito. Ayon kay Mr. Borja, head ng Binyan City Culture, Heritage, Art and Tourism Office, 10 taon itong ipinaglaban ng pamahalang panglungsod kasama ng mga heritage advocate upang muling maitayo ang makasaysayang mansyon para maging isang local heritage site sa nasabing lungsod upang makita ng mga susunod na henerasyon ang makasaysayang lugar na ito. Malaking pasasalamat naman ng mga heritage advocate sa kasalukuyang administrasyon upang maibalik ang Alberto Mansion. Ang nasabing ancestral home ni Teodora Alonso na matatanda ang gumuho noong 2012, ito ay pinaayos at pinaganda na isa sa mga natitirang pamana sa kasaysayan ng lungsod. Taong 2010 pa na ideklarang heritage site ang nasabing bahay at nang nakaraang taon na umpisa ng construction at sa ngayon ay isang napakagandang gusali na makikita ng maraming residente at ng mga turista. Dinaluhan din ito ni Vice President Lenny Robledo at ng mga local official. Mula sa Laguna kasama si Bayani Yesma para sa Eagle News, Antonio Laguna Jr., we are one with 25.
At yan po mga balitang pumapagaspas saan mang panig ng Pilipinas. Hanggang sa muli, ito ang Agila Pilipinas. Sa pangalan po ng mga bumubuo ng Eagle News Service, ako po si Pia Okut Galang, I am 1 with 25.
This is one of the few films na, even if I had to go to the bathroom, hindi ako makatayo talaga kasi talagang na-engage ako. This is storytelling at its best.
Ganda-ganda ng pelikula, drama and comedy. For sure, makakapulot po kayo ng magandang aral at doon sa mga nakakaranas ng depression. Ito yung pelikula na mag-aano sa atin para hindi ma-depress sa buhay.
Action ko, ang ganda ng pelikula. Kompleto siya. Basang-basahin pa niyo ko, kakayak. At saka papatawanin, ang galing ng bata. Yung mga kulturang nakakalimutan na natin na pwede ibalik dito.
Na-break niya yung superstar system dito sa movie na pwede rin gumawa ng isang magandang pelikula without any main stars.
Napakaganda ng pelikula, napakagaling ng director at ng cast. Napanood ko yung part 1. Mas maganda pa rin tong part 2 at nag-step up.
Kaya mga kababayan, hindi kayat ko kayong panoodin nyo ang Guerrero 2.
Yes, I highly recommend po yung pelikula. Panoorin niyo po.
Kailangan mapanood talaga ng mas nakakarami pang mga Pilipino.
Hello everyone, inibitahan ko na kayo manood ng Guerrero 2, Tuloy ang Laban.
Guerrero 2, Tuloy ang Laban.
Guerrero 2, Tuloy ang Laban.
Guerrero 2.
Guerrero 2, Guerrero 2. Guerrero 2,
Tuloy ang laban. Tuloy ang laban.
Tuloy pa rin ang laban.
Tuloy ang laban. Guerrero 2, tuloy ang laban.
Malaking tulong para sa mga magsasaka at mga farm owner ang tinatawag na agri-tourism.
Bukod sa tumataas ang produksyon ng pagkain, umaangat din ang kabuhayan ng mga magsasaka dahil sa dumarami ang mga bumibisita sa mga taniman.
Iba't iba makikita sa mga bukirin o farm sa ngayon. Kaya naman gumagawa ng hakbang ang pamahalaan para tangkilikin ang mga mamamayan pati na ng mga turista.
Gaya ng tropical fruit farms kung saan makikita ang iba't ibang puno o fruit-bearing trees.
Farm resorts na ma-e-enjoy lalo't mga taniman ang iyong makikita na nilagyan din ng iba't ibang mapapasyalan.
Organic farms, kung saan makikita ang mga tanim na palay at gulay, pati na rin ang mga taniman ng prutas na pwedeng ikaw mismo ang pumitas.
At sa farm tourism, syempre mayroon ding food menu. Pagkapitas ng napili mong inaning bunga, pwede mo na itong kainin kaagad o ipaluto. Kaya isa itong magandang experience.
At kami po sa mata ng Agila ay suportado po namin ang farm tourism sa bansa para na rin sa ikaulad ng turismo at agrikultura.
Kaya ang aming panawagan, magkaroon ng matatag na Tourism Road Infrastructure Program para madaling mapuntahan o mabisita ang mga bukirin.
Hindi rin po dapat mawala ang pagbibigay ng insentibo sa mga accredited farm tourism professionals at operators para lalong tangkilikin ang iba't ibang agri-destination sa bansa. Bata ng Agila!
Lunes hanggang Biyernes.
Alas 6 hanggang alas 7:30 ng gabi. Dito lang
sa Net 25.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave some love by giving it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe here at ABC Digital Nest so you don't miss any of our upcoming features.
We live in interesting times. Today's stories. Police clash with demonstrators in Chile during massive protest. UNESCO pulls Belgian carnival from heritage list over anti-Semitism charges. 5 years of thirst. South Africa's Eastern Cape battles brutal drought. In sports, the Spokane Chiefs avenge their loss against the Vancouver Giants. In Canadian high school basketball, the Kelowna Owls take on Burnaby South in Sumura Basketball Invitational. Kawhi Leonard returned to Scotiabank Arena to face his former teammates. And a sneakerhead's dream comes true, only in Toronto. I'm Archie Rose of TV Dad Yi with Eagle News, broadcasting from our Vancouver, Canada studio, bringing you stories from around the globe. Police in Chile clashed with demonstrators in the capital during a massive protest at Plaza Italia Square. On a day, the UN Rights Office released a report saying the police and army responded to recent mass protests in a, quote, fundamentally repressive manner, violating international rights norms. UN investigators said Friday Chilean police responded to recent mass protests in a fundamentally repressive manner, resulting in serious abuses, including unlawful killings and torture. In a fresh report, the UN Rights Office said that during the recent mass protests and state of emergency in Chile, the police and army violated international rights norms and standards for crowd control and use of force. Chile's Human Rights Minister Lorena Recabarren voiced Santiago's regret over the complaints, but said they should be seen in context of the violence. Chile's crisis erupted in mid-October over metro fare hikes, but quickly escalated into the most severe outbreak of social unrest since the end of the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet nearly 30 years ago. Furious Chileans have taken to the streets to register their anger over inequality and particularly to vent at the elites that control much of the country's wealth. Amid alarming reports of killings and violence, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and former Chilean President Michelle Bachelet decided in October to send a team to investigate. The investigators, who visited the country from October 30th through to November 22nd, concluded the report that there are reasonable grounds to believe that a high number of serious human rights violations have been committed. UNESCO withdraws an annual carnival in the Belgian city of Aalst from its heritage list over persistent charges of anti-Semitism.
Porque se trata de una manifestación que está discriminando, que está irrespetando y que está siendo o aplicando la xenofobia.
UNESCO on Friday withdrew an annual carnival in the Belgian city of Aalst from its heritage list over persistent charges of anti-Semitism. In an unprecedented move, UNESCO's Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage said it was withdrawing the carnival over recurring repetition of racist and anti-Semitic representations at the event. The Carnival of Aalst in the Belgian Dutch-speaking region of Flanders was initially added to the UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2010. But the presence in the parade of a float caricaturing Orthodox Jews with hooked noses and sitting on gold bags outraged Belgium's 40,000-strong Jewish community. Johan Benizri, Vice President of the World Jewish Congress, welcomed Friday's decision, but said it was, quote, unfortunately not the end of the story. We deplore, but today we also fear the disastrous consequences of the carnival, whether or not it is recognized by UNESCO. Anticipating UNESCO's decision at its meeting in the Colombian capital Bogota, the city's mayor, Christophe Days, had on Sunday already renounced Aalst's place on the list before it could be stripped off of the designation.
Es una decisión histórica y marca un punto muy importante para el futuro de la convención. Nunca antes había pasado que una manifestación se retirara o la UNESCO retirara una manifestación. Debo advertir también. Sí, lo que se había visto en las últimas versiones era que había alusiones muy fuertes y que trascendían, digamos, el espíritu de sátira que caracteriza cualquier carnaval y ya se tornaba en una agresión, en una falta de respeto con las otras culturas y claramente en una forma muy grave de discriminación.
In South Africa's Eastern Cape province, no one can remember the last proper downpour. Some say it was 5 years ago, others 6. Residents are relying on water distributions with dramatic consequences for farmers, school children, and traders. According to the UN, in southern Africa as a whole, where temperatures are rising twice as fast as the rest of the world, people are experiencing the worst drought in 35 years.
came here, we got a shock. We saw the people opening up taps, no water coming out. Some people telling us this has been for the last 6 months, some for the last 4 months, some for weeks. Because the town has still a little bit of water, now the whole place is shut.
We wake up early because sometimes it's hot. Then we went to go fetch water by the other locations when we haven't got water. I spend sometimes 3 hours or 2 hours when I'm tired.
The lack of water is affecting the education of the kids because they're staying out of school. Some of them have to go and help their parents or grandparents carry water.
We're in a survival mode. For how long? I don't know. If we don't get rain now before the winter, we'll have to close the books. People will sit without jobs, no income, starving. It's actually a chain reaction because of this drought.
Up next, the Spokane Chiefs avenged their loss against the Vancouver Giants. In Canadian high school basketball, the Kelowna Owls take on Burnaby South in Samora Basketball Invitational. Kawhi Leonard returned to Scotiabank Arena to face his former teammates. This is Eagle News.
Soccer, the world's favorite sport. And it's no wonder. Spectacular goals. And plenty of emotion. The best of game day. Kickoff.
In Good Shape, your weekly health show on DW that covers many aspects of healthcare. We look at what's new in medical treatment, nutrition, fitness, and beauty. We discuss these topics in depth with specialists.
I am teacher Sally and this is Kid Kwento, one of Net25 Kids' online shows. Kid Kwento is now on TV. You can watch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Also watch Anong Sa Inyo with Ate DJ every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Sa Kid Kwento, ang aming motto ay, let's all read to succeed! Hooray! Kita-kita tayo ha! Bye-bye!
ASEAN in Focus, Monday to Friday, 2 to 2:30 p.m.
You're watching Eagle News. In this part of the world, it's winter time, and with that, cold weather. But the WHL, or Western Hockey League, is keeping fans warm with some exciting hockey action. Early this season, the Spokane Chiefs lost to the Vancouver Giants. The two teams met again, and the Chiefs set to avenge their loss against the Giants. Anthony Sevilla has the story.
The Vancouver Giants and the Spokane Chiefs met for the second time this season, with the Chiefs coming out on top 2-1 at the Langley Event Center. Spokane got their revenge after falling to the Giants the previous week. It also marked the first trip back to the LEC after Vancouver eliminated them from the playoffs in last year's Western Conference Finals. Vancouver outdueled Spokane in almost every statistical category, including shots on goal and power play opportunities. However, Spokane won in the most important statistic, the box score. The Chiefs had a 2-1 lead over the Giants after the first period and eventually held on to that lead to earn the victory. Vancouver had plenty of opportunities to tie up the game, but goaltender Campbell Arnold played a huge role for Spokane in the win. The goaltender from Nanaimo, British Columbia, who earned first star of the game, finished with 30 saves, 15 of those in the third period alone. Head coach for Vancouver, Michael Dick, talked post-game about the loss and the team struggled on the power play despite their lone goal coming off the PP.
It's a power play goal. I mean, you know what? Our power play is going to come. I truly believe that. We do so many good things. We've hit goalposts, we've hit crossbars. We're just having a hard time right now, and I think we're gonna be better for it. But certainly going through a tough stretch as far as creating offense. But I thought our defense played really well tonight. Goaltending was good. That's a good hockey club, and for us to generate 31 shots against them, we did a lot of good things. Well, I mean, they're frustrated. I mean, obviously, we generate 45 shots against Tri-Cities. We generate 32 against Victoria and 31 tonight against Spokane, and we just gotta keep doing the same things we're doing defensively, because we're holding teams to 20, 25 shots, and just simplify offense and just keep putting pucks in that. That's the only thing we can do. If you start straying from that, we're gonna probably create a lot more opportunities the other way. So it's pucks to the net and bodies to the net.
Bowen Byram earned third star of the game honors. Byram was recently included amongst the select group to travel to Ontario for Hockey Canada's World Junior Selection Camp. The Colorado Avalanche prospect and Giants assistant captain talked post about the good and the bad in the Giants' loss to Spokane.
We need to figure out how to be ready for the start of games, but I thought after that we played a pretty full 60-minute effort in. So yeah, we got to take the positives. In times like this, you can't get down on each other, get down on yourself. So bounces are going to start going our way eventually, so we just got to keep at it. I think we've been struggling on the power play. A lot of it has to do with my play. Some other guys. I know that we all want to be better, and we're trying to do the right thing. So it's been tough, but to get a goal tonight is definitely huge, and hopefully we can keep going.
The last meeting between the two clubs at this arena, the Chiefs were eliminated from the Western Conference Finals at the hands of Vancouver. Spokane got the revenge at the LEC and split the season series at 1 game apiece. The next matchup between the two clubs will be in the new year, as Vancouver will travel to Spokane in the third game of their season series.
From the Langley Event Center, I'm Anthony Sevilla, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Anthony. This next story takes us to the Sumura High School basketball tournament, where the Kelowna Owls took on Burnaby South. Jolty Horvath of our British Columbia Bureau has the report.
In the semi-final of the Sumura Basketball Invitational, the biggest preseason tournament of the BC boys basketball season, the second-ranked Kelowna Owls took down top-ranked Burnaby South to advance to the finals. In what might have been a preview of the future playoff matchup, the two powerhouse teams went head-to-head in a battle for the ages. The second-ranked Kelowna Owls came away with a slight 77-76 victory over the number 1 Burnaby South Rebels. The game had all the excitement, with Kelowna jumping out to a big lead in the first half, and Burnaby South fighting all the way back to take a 1-point lead with under 4 seconds to play. Kelowna guard Jared Taylor was fouled and hit both of his free throws to put the Owls up by 1. The last play of the game came down to Burnaby South inbounding the ball and taking a long 3-point attempt, only to have the shot blocked by Kelowna's Braden White and the final horn sound. This victory for the Owls comes just 1 week after Burnaby South beat them in the semifinals of the Heritage Woods Kodiak Classic Tournament held in Port Moody, British Columbia. The regular season begins this week for both of the squads, who look to win their conference and meet again in the provincial playoffs in early 2020. Schulte Horvath, Eagle News, 1 with 25.
Thank you, Jolty. Last year's NBA season was indeed a memorable one, with Kawhi Leonard leading the Toronto Raptors to become the first ever Canadian team to win the NBA title. The storyline gets better, with Leonard moving to the Los Angeles Clippers in the offseason and once again shaking up the NBA landscape. Just recently, he returned to Scotiabank Arena in Toronto to face his former teammates. Let's see how warm the welcome was. Adrian Pangilinan from the Southern Ontario Bureau has the story. Adrian?
The arena here is buzzing at Scotiabank Arena. The Miami Heat visit for the first and only time this season. The two teams sit atop the Eastern Conference standings, sitting only behind the Milwaukee Bucks. so we expect to see a hard-fought battle.
Kyle Lowry returns to the lineup after missing 11 games. He was looking to find his groove again after injuring his left thumb back on November 8th. Serge Ibaka also returned in the previous contest against the Jazz, where they won to keep their winning streak alive at 7. And for all this success, in the month of November, head coach Nick Nurse was awarded as the Eastern Conference Coach of the Month. This is an impressive feat for the coach considering the loss of the Finals MVP over the summer and all the injuries in the first month of the season. In Tuesday night's contest, the Miami Heat won in overtime 121-110, ending the Raptors' undefeated record at home. The Heat were led by Jimmy Butler, who put up a triple-double, scoring 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 12 assists. Next up, the Raptors have their work cut out for them as they face the Rockets, 76ers, and Clippers all within the next week.
The team looks to weather the storm as they face some tough opponents over the coming weeks. Remember to find all your sports coverage on EBCSI. Reporting from Scotiabank Arena, I'm Adian Pangilinan, Eagle News 1 with 25.
Thank you, Adian. Up next, a sneakerhead's dream come true only in Toronto. You're watching Eagle News.
Innovation, digital disruption,